Rock Solid Sports, the only sports show in Knoxville with a home field advantage. I'm Galanza, and I'm here with Forman and Tanner Carson, where we will be giving you our Week 10 preview of the Tennessee Tech and UT's homecoming game here at Neyland Stadium this Saturday at 4 p.m. To start us off, what are the keys to the game for Tennessee?
Well, Sierra, offensively for Tennessee, it's really pretty simple against Tennessee Tech. It's don't make the simple mistakes that we've been seeing. Stupid penalties. Turning over the football. Hold on to the football. Do what you're supposed to do against Tennessee Tech. It's that simple offensively for Tennessee. Defensively, it's pretty simple as well. You should be able to decimate them from the talent level and the difference. So make your tackles. Do what you're supposed to do. Limit your stupid mistakes. Get turnovers. It's really that simple when you're playing an FCS team the caliber of Tennessee Tech. Nothing against them. It's just there's a huge talent difference between these two rosters.
It's basically what Sam just said. I wish I could give some type of detailed breakdown about the matchups on, offense and defense, up and down the board for Tennessee versus Tennessee Tech. But at the end of the day, like Sam said, there's just too much of a gigantic talent gap, even with all of Tennessee's injuries. Tennessee just has to just stick to regular game plan and not make any mistakes. And definitely against a team as bad as Tennessee Tech is, don't make a lot of mistakes, because that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to have to happen to keep Tennessee taking the ball game if they're going to stay in the game at all. So you just come out, you take care of business like you're supposed to. I know we've seen several FCS upsets over the past few years, especially a lot this year, but Tennessee Tech's not one of those teams. That doesn't mean Tennessee doesn't need to go ahead and sleepwalk completely into this game, because we even saw a bad FCS team, Nicholls State, nearly upset Georgia at home. So anything can happen in the world of college football, but it shouldn't happen this Saturday.
Yeah, you got to play a full 60 minutes here for Tennessee.
Okay, and similarly, the FCS team coming here to Neyland Stadium, Tennessee Tech, what are their keys?
Well, if you're Tennessee Tech, the key may honestly be to keep this thing as close as possible. It's kind of one of those games you see. Playing a Power 5 school for homecoming, you're basically there to collect a paycheck. Offensively, it's for the quarterback, the running back, all your skill players. It's don't make mistakes, or make as few as possible. You can't have penalties, and you can't, when the ball hits you in the hands, you got to catch it. Quarterback hands you the ball, you got to hold on to it. Quarterback, you got to make the right read, especially with the amount of pressure you should be under. Defensively, you've got to make open field tackles when you have the chance, and you can't let the Tennessee running backs, especially when we looked at the start of the season, you're on running backs 3 and 4, who are now you're 1 and 2 if you're Tennessee. You've got to not allow them to break tackles, and John Kelly may actually be better than Jalen Hurd at breaking tackles with how angry he runs the football.
He might be one of the meanest run backs I've ever seen in college football, just the way he runs. But for me, and for Tennessee Tech's keys to the game, it boils down to two things. One, they have to play perfect. They might have to play the most perfect game they've ever played in their program's history to even, keep this close and even think about winning this game. And they also got to hope Tennessee comes into this game really disinterested, really lethargic about playing this game, because of all the drama that's happened since the South Carolina game, all the off-the-field drama that's happened so much this week. We're only halfway through a week, and you look at all the stuff that's happened. It seems like it's been 10 years since Juwan Jennings caught that Hail Mary down in Georgia, and Tennessee was seemingly on top of the world. It's come crashing back down to earth after that. So Tennessee Tech would have to hope that Tennessee just does not want to play whatsoever. In addition to playing perfect, then they might have a chance. But outside of that, that's the only two things they can really hope for.
Okay, and Tennessee has gone through a lot this past week. What players will you be looking specifically at for this game?
Well, I'm looking at a position that took a major hit this week, and that's the running back position. You're out Alvin Kamara, who now we're hearing maybe could return next week. Still have to get through Tennessee Tech without him. You shouldn't need a lot of running backs against Tennessee Tech. You're also out Jalen Hurd, the 5th all-time leading rusher in program history, and your leading rusher on the last 2 seasons. I'm not looking at John Kelly, though. I know what he can bring to the table. Now it's time to see what the freshman Carlin Fields-Ami can do. He's going to get a huge amount of minutes. We're going to get a chance to see him develop. He's going to make great strides towards his development heading into next season. This week, what can he do? Because you don't want to have South Carolina be your lasting memory of your freshman season.
Well, my player on offense to watch for Tennessee is the man a lot of people don't have their eyes on. Sam already mentioned him. It is John Kelly. I felt like I mentioned John Kelly a lot these past few weeks, just because he could be a very special player years down the road. Like we already said, he runs very mean. We've seen him in the 2 games he's got the most action in, Texas A&M, South Carolina. He's had great success, great average carrying the football. So now he's going to be the man Saturday. He's going to be the feature back. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do against a pretty bad Tennessee Tech rushing defense. And I think for defense, someone who can make history Saturday, it's Derek Barnett. And I know it's a guy that we've mentioned several times on our players to watch this season, but there's a reason for that. Derek Barnett leads the country in sacks with 9. He's top of a lot of people, but against the Tennessee Tech offensive line, that's a very bad offensive line even for FCS standards. They are the 3rd worst offensive line in sacks allowed in the FCS. You can see Derek Barnett get the 3 sacks required to Kyle Rachel Watt's all-time sack record at Tennessee. And depending on how long he stays in the game, he can also break the record if he gets 3.5 or 4. So it'd be interesting to keep your eyes on both those players on offense and defense.
Okay, and then defensively for me, I'm also looking at a position that was hurt last week against South Carolina with the depth issue. Shai Tuttle now out for the season, add him to losing Khalil McKenzie versus Alabama, and then of course Danny O'Brien being kicked off the team. So I'm looking at the defensive tackle spot in a defensive end who's now playing defensive tackle, sophomore Kyle Phillips for Tennessee. He got his best game of his career against South Carolina, especially seeing minutes that he didn't think he would see. Well, now he's going to be making his first start more than likely on Saturday in Neyland Stadium. It's against an opponent he should be able to be pretty successful with. I want to see what kind of career day he can top what he did in South Carolina with, because it's going to happen, you would think, against Tennessee Tech. And then I'm also just looking at how good is he overall, and he's probably going to be your number 2 option. We'll see what he's got for the rest of the season. He's still got 3 SEC games left, potentially a 4th if things line up.
Similarly, what players will you be looking at specifically on Tennessee Tech?
Well, for Tennessee Tech, on the offensive side of the ball, I'm looking at the quarterback, Michael Birdsong. I have that one to your all-name list, or all-name team. He's a pretty decent quarterback, pretty balanced. He doesn't make a ton of mistakes, but he can make mistakes. It's all about decision-making that he's going to make for Tennessee Tech as to how well their offense is going to go. Because, like you said, you mentioned their offensive line numbers. Tennessee should be able to get all kinds of pressure on him. It's going to be all about the decisions he makes. Defensively, it's about Josh Poplar. He's their leading tackle. He's got to have a career day to keep Tennessee Tech in this thing past the first quarter or halftime, one of the two, depending on how quick Tennessee gets off to a start.
And for offense for Tennessee Tech, Sam just mentioned the quarterback Michael Birdsong. His number 1 option is going to be Dantes Bird at wide receiver. 5'11", good, quick little receiver, but he has a lot of catches on the year. He's definitely improved over the last few weeks. Tennessee Tech's going to make a lot of plays on offense. You certainly think Birdsong to Bird, the Bird to Bird connection right there.
I can't wait to tweet that on Saturday.
I guess Bird is the word for Tennessee Tech. If they're going to make offensive plays, that's the matchup to watch out for. And Sam already saw my defensive player to watch for. It's Josh Poplar. He has 84 tackles on the season, one of the best linebackers in all of FCS. He's actually a local product from Knox Central High School, so that'll be interesting to see how good the game he has in his homecoming at Tennessee's homecoming.
Also playing this week is Air Force against Army at Army. What are your predictions for this game?
Well, you got a battle of 2 military schools. That means one thing. Well, it means a couple things, actually. A little bit old school football, option football, and a lot of runs. I can't believe I'm going to do this because I rarely ever pick against the Falcons, but I think Army running back Andy Davidson is going to be enough to get the Black Knights the win in this one. Army wins 24-21 over the Air Force Academy.
Well, consider yourself a little more shocked, Sam, because I'm actually picking up Black Knights in this one too. It's always interesting to watch the service academies go up against each other. I know everyone knows about the Army-Navy game at the end of the year. Say what you will about the 2 triple option attacks going at each other. It can make for some entertaining football, and this should definitely be the case when Army takes on the Air Force. Army's had a great season this year. They've not had really consistent winning seasons in a long time, but it looks like the trend's changing a little bit. So I got their upward trend continuing. I've got the Black Knights winning 31-30 over the Falcons.
Also playing this week is has been number 1 all season, Alabama against number 15 LSU at LSU. What are your predictions for this game?
At the beginning of the season, I said LSU was my pick not only to win the SEC West, but to win the SEC and the national title. Well, things didn't get quite as I planned with that, but now under Coach Orgeron, LSU is actually playing up to their talent level. And when they play their talent level, they're one of the top 3 most talented teams in the country, along with Alabama and Ohio State. That being said, I just think Alabama's a little bit too good, but the Tigers give them a game 24-21, Alabama over the Tigers.
I've loved how LSU's been rejuvenated since Ed Orgeron took the reins after the fire Les Miles in offensive coordinator Cam Cameron. We've seen LSU look like a completely different team on offense. You've seen them put up great numbers, especially Leonard Fournette in his return from a month on injury against Ole Miss. Broke the single game school rushing record with 284 yards. It's been just something to watch this LSU offense actually finally use their wide receivers as well. Malachi Dupree and Trayvon Durrell. That being said, despite the good numbers they put up, they're playing the best defense in the country. They're playing a team who, everywhere you look up and down the board, you have highlight makers, and it's just going to be too much for Tigers to overcome, even though it is going to be in Baton Rouge. I just think, people like Jonathan Allen, Ruben Foster are going to make too many plays. They're going to keep Leonard Fournette in check, sort of like Leonard Fournette was kept in check last year. I've got the Tide rolling 28-17.
Okay, also we have a top 10 matchup. Number 9, Nebraska is playing number 6, Ohio State at Ohio State. What are your predictions for this game?
Well, this one's kind of interesting because it could be a Big Ten championship game preview. These two teams very likely can meet in the Big Ten title game later in the season. Nebraska currently in the front of one division. Ohio State, if they beat Michigan, would head to the Big Ten championship game out of the other division. I like Nebraska a lot here, but they've got back-to-back hard road games. From last week, they went to Wisconsin. Now they're at the 6th-ranked Buckeyes. It's going to be too much for them again on the road. Ohio State wins 28-14 over the Cornhuskers.
I thought Ohio State looked like one of the best overall complete teams in the country up until their game against Penn State. They lost that one on the road, and that's usually a tough environment to play in, so not too many people were shocked. But then they struggled at home against Northwestern. Northwestern made that game a lot closer than people thought it would. They've been having struggles on offense, especially with JT Bear trying to find the deep ball, trying to find any deep threat. And they're going to play a Nebraska defense that leads the country in interceptions. A lot of ball hawks to win that secondary. But I just think Nebraska, they're going to be suffering a little too much from that heartbreaking overtime loss on the road at Wisconsin. And also watching the Nebraska quarterback, Tommy Armstrong. Now, he's got a reputation among Nebraska fans for good Tommy, when he makes amazing plays with his arm and his legs, but he's got bad Tommy when he makes several mistakes, which has been known for throughout his career. I think it's going to be a tight game, but Ohio State's going to force bad Tommy to come out near the end. I've got the Buckeyes winning 26-24.
Another top 10 team, number 10, Florida is playing unranked Arkansas at Arkansas. How about this?
This is a big-time game for Florida because if they win this, that basically sends them to Atlanta for the SEC title game. That being said, I realize Arkansas hasn't played as great the last couple weeks. This is still the time of the year you don't want to head to Fayetteville to play Brett Bielema and the Hogs. I think Raleigh Williams III going to have a big game and expose that Florida defense. I'm going with the upset. Arkansas over the 10th-ranked Gators. Hogs win 31-21 over the Gators. Keep the Vols' SEC East hopes alive.
Well, I have to apologize to the Vols SEC hosts because they're probably going to go up in flames this Saturday because I have the Gators winning at Arkansas 24-19 just for the simple fact that, yes, even though Arkansas is coming off a bye week, it's still, think about the last game they played. They got absolutely embarrassed, 56-3 about Auburn. Yeah, Auburn's been on the upswing, but still, you would think a Brett Bielema coach team this late in the season would be a lot more competitive than that. I think they're going to come out a lot more competitive, really, but it's not going to be enough. I think that Florida defense is too good overall. You think Raleigh Williams is going to torch them? I think their defense will be exposed later in the season by Leonard Fournette, but it's not going to be the time this Saturday.
Our FCS game of the week is Youngstown State versus North Dakota State at North Dakota State.
Simply put, North Dakota State has been the premier FCS team over the last 5 to 6 years, and I have a rule of never picking against the Bison until they prove me wrong. They got me major points when I picked them to beat Iowa earlier in the season, so I'm definitely not going to pick against them now. The Bison roll on the way to another national title, 42-28 over Youngstown State.
It's the same thing. It's really hard to pick against the Bison, especially when they play at home in the Fargo Dome. One of the most toughest environments to play in, just because of how rowdy that crowd gets in there. Even for a small crowd, it gets pretty loud up there in Fargo.
Second greatest stadium name ever.
True. Behind the Kiwi Dome. But anyway, I digress. Youngstown State's coached by former Nebraska coach Bo Pelini. He has a great defensive squad there, but like I said, that North Dakota State offense has been too consistent over the years, and especially, like I said, they're playing the Fargo Dome. I've got the Bison winning 45-30.
And finally, UT is having their homecoming game here at Neyland Stadium against Tennessee Tech. What is your prediction for that?
I've had a lot of conversations about Tennessee, a lot of positive and a lot of negative conversations with people in the media, people outside the media, fans, all week long, ever since that South Carolina game last Saturday. And I'm looking at this as still a glass half full kind of situation. I still think, until I'm proven wrong, that the South Carolina loss may be one of the best things to happen for this team in the rest of the year, whether or not they win the SEC East. If Tennessee can finish 9-3 on the season, still be their best finish since 2007. They need this one to get it done. I think they're going to play a full game. Tennessee wins 48-3 over the Golden Eagles of Tennessee Tech.
The number one thing that the Vols need to do this Saturday is make sure there's no more important injuries. that's the last thing they need going down to this it's turned into a very crucial stretch at the end of the season for Tennessee, for not only for this season, not only for the slim SEC East host, but also going forward for the future of Butch Jones and the rest of the coaching staff. I think you need to rest your stars, get your stars out there by maybe even before the end of the first half if you can, because this Tennessee Tech team, like I said earlier, they're not a good FCS team. I know that means you don't need to take them lightly, but just, looking at it realistically, Tennessee should roll over the Golden Eagles. I think they're going to. I got a prediction. I think that Tennessee defensive line is going to get 7 sacks on the day. I've got the Vols winning 48-17. Just get out of there. Just feel good about yourselves, and I hope you don't lose Kentucky.
Well, there you have it. Once again, if you want to watch Tennessee Tech against UT at UT's homecoming game here at the Neyland Stadium, kickoff is at 4 p.m. I'm Sierra Galanza here with Sam Forman and Tanner Carson, and that was your Rock Solid Sports Week 10 preview.